on in the future with you on your setup and your posture would be actually letting your arms hang straight down. Everything else in your posture is freaking awesome. And that's kind of, looking at that, that's what we want to see is that athletic, ready posture where you could run forwards, backwards, to the side. You could do whatever you needed to from that posture. Very simple. His arms are just hanging straight down. See? You're better than you thought already.
I never realized that your arms should.
Absolutely. And that's because of gravity.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight gravity to start off with, or you have to fight it later. Now, as you come down through, you're going to be creating centripetal force, so it's going to pull your hands away from you, and they will extend. But you don't ever have to force that or think about it, really. It's kind of just a natural occurrence. All right, so first things first, grip, it looks pretty good. Now, do you know much about a grip?
I know that left-handed, so my right hand, I should have my grip so I can see my knuckles.
You got it. You want to see about 2, almost 3 knuckles on that right hand. Which you can see here is perfect. If I draw a line up this crease between your thumb and forefinger, see where it points right to your shoulder. Okay, that hand is perfect on the club. Problem is your your left hand, it's a little low as far as it's called strong on the club. Strong and weak on a club don't refer to tightness, it's placement. Okay. And so your left hand here is strong on the club. So all we would want to do is match those to be parallel. Not pointed at each other, just parallel. I would change that right now. Again, that's a longer term correction that we would work on. Right now, your grip isn't, a stronger grip essentially would shut the club face, which means that for you, it would actually hit the ball to the right.
Really?
So I'm not going to change that because you're not hitting the ball to the right.
Ever.
If you were hitting the ball to the right, then I would touch your grip. But because you're not hitting the ball to the right with that grip, it means there's something else going on in the swing. And that's what we're going to work on. Now, when you consistently start hitting the ball to the right, you might say, hey, I'm happy with it going that way. I'm going to aim to the left and just draw it back in. Fantastic. We leave your grip alone. But if you want to hit it straighter or what have you, we can tweak that only after the swing has become consistent. That makes sense? Most golf professionals are going to say your grip is wrong. But it's not wrong because you're trying to get the ball to go the way that grip suggests. So if the grip isn't actually affecting it, again, there's just no reason to work on that yet. Okay, other than that, your setup is good. Yeah. However, would you watch some YouTube videos or something?
Okay. After my first scrap, I went home just like, I already stand. Whatever I could identify, I tried to do it.
Good, and you did it. That is great. Your back is nice and flat. You've got a little bit of knee bend, not too much. Your weight's forward. It's not on your heels. All in all, that part looks good. Now let's get into the club's motion. As you start moving this club back, you can see, not too bad. Comes inside under that plane line just a little bit. If that club really came inside on that takeaway, let's say this is your target line, if your club came all the way in here, then you let it naturally return to the golf ball, where are you going to hit it? The opposite direction. So for you, even this little bit here is going to cause your ball to shoot a little left. This represents your chip shot. This is when you're 5 feet off the green, 10 feet off the green. Questions there?
Wait, what represents my chip shot?
This position.
Oh, okay.
If you took the club back to there, that would be just that little chip shot. Yep, got it. Now as you start to hinge, that's where we start storing the energy. Now you're talking about a 50-yard pitch shot. This one's going over the bunker. Still have that wedge in your hands, but you need to carry it farther and kind of stop it. Club head's pretty close to being on line, so that's really good. But where does that butt end need to be pointed? At the ball. That's why you lift. Because if you pull straight down and let the club do the work, which we want to do, this is where your club head would go. So if not, if you make contact from this position, you're forcibly changing things and relying on your hand-eye coordination. With a baseball bat, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I can rotate a baseball bat 360 degrees and I get the same surface area. With the club face, though, 1 degree change, and the ball goes someplace completely different. So the goal here would be to get the butt end pointed right at the ball, so you don't have to do much but pull that grip down, and the club will naturally whip through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So from here, now your body's going to try and adjust, so let's see where it goes. Okay, now, not bad. You rode up that line really good, which tells us two things. Number one, it tells us that once you get to here, watch your shoulder. You're actually rotating your shoulder. Till right about here, you're fundamentally sound, minus the fact that you're off point. The other part it tells us is that if in this position right here, the butt end of your club is pointed at that golf ball, and you do the same motion basically, where's the butt end going to be when you get to this position? Still pointed at the golf ball, because it never left this line. So that's what I'm seeing when I said to you earlier, man, you've got abilities. You're going to be good at this game. It's just going to take some effort. Okay. And I'm going to show you the right way to do it. Now, you get to the top here, and your club is called across the line, because it's across the line. What that does is, from this position here, if you pull down as hard as you could on the grip, you create the fulcrum with the weight of the club out here. What that causes is that club to whip behind you. And if that club gets too far behind you, then you're stuck and you have to make a whole bunch of adjustments. The person that has the club laid off at the top, in this position here, when they pull down, the club wants to come over the top. And then now they're fighting to pull the club in closer. That's why today we're going to get you here. So when you pull down, the club just naturally whips through the golf ball. Okay. Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
And basically, I'll show you with the actual golf club here. Say my target line is straight towards that TV screen right there. You're here at the top. So if you just pull down on the grip, what goes that way? You're laid off here and you pull down on the grip, what goes over the top there. So that's really where that's going to happen. But man, still, when we look at like that, great turn, great rotation. You don't have to forcibly do anything. This is the best part right here. Your right arm is straight, man. Good, it's extended, phenomenal positioning right there with your arm and your lower body. So now we just need to get your club into a slightly better position. As you pull down from here, you see the club starts moving closer to the line. Now it's a little under the line. Now right there you're saying, TJ, that is a phenomenal position. That's what you need to be thinking in your mind. That is a beautiful position right there. And the reason I say that, look at the butt end of the club. Pointed almost right at the golf ball. So we went through slightly inside on the takeaway to not a ideal hinge to across the line at the top, and then all of a sudden you bring it back down and you're in almost a perfect position. How did that happen?
I have no idea.
Your subconscious, your hand-eye coordination reacted and got that club back into a good position to make contact. The problem is here, your club face is a little bit off, and as you come down, at this position here, see how the club here is above your hands? It's still hinged. You still have that angle. When you get to here, though, the club's now below your hands. For you, at this position, the club should still be up there. Yes. How you got that club into a really good position is you slowed it down. You slowed it down enough to manipulate the club and put it back into the right spot. The problem is, you can't manipulate it like that the same way every time. That's why you hit it one good, you hit 8 bad, you miss one time. So, in order to get a good position and a good motion every time, that's what we're going to work on, so that it happens 8 times, and you only hit 2 bad shots out of those 10, as opposed to the opposite. So you slow the club down. Now, you see the flex in the shaft? That means you're accelerating the club head, which actually slows down the overall speed of the club. As you get closer, the club face is open, and you're going to hit it off the toe. So what you have to do at this point is you have to square the club face up, use your hands to roll the club face over, which we already know if you overdo it by a degree, it throws it one direction if you underdo it. But you also have to stop moving the club to the target and push the club away from you, or you're going to hit it off the toe of the club. That's all happening in that moment. It's like 400 things we've talked about that you didn't even realize you were doing. And on this one, you get back to it, you bottom out a little bit early. Do you hit the ground before the ball fairly often, or do you hit more ball and no ground? It could be either one. Yeah. Okay.
Whatever I'm trying to choose.
And then that one, you made pretty good contact. I mean, you hit that one okay. We just know that it's not happening every time, and that's what we want to work on. So we start off by hinging a little bit better. Transition to the top so your butt end is pointed right at the golf ball, and then you're just going to try and pull the grip off the club. You're not going to have to think about how to correct any of this. I'm going to show you, and really all you're going to do is follow a laser.
Okay.
And then pull as hard as you can. Any question on the cause and effect that we see over here?
No.
Seems like a lot of work, doesn't it?
Seems like a lot, yeah.
It's going to take a few repetitions, quite a bit of repetitions actually, and some focus, but all in all, you've got some really good things working for you. We're going to highlight some of your natural athletic abilities, and just from some adjustments, you're going to be able to strike that ball more consistently better.
Okay.
All right, on the right side here, as you take it back, not bad. See this triangle right here? We want to maintain that as long as possible, at least until the hands pass the hips. As you get back to here, though, see how it's already broken down a little bit? You've started with your hands hinging a little early, and we'll work on that a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy on you. We'll teach you how to hinge better. This is the hinge. 90 degrees. That's all you need. That is fantastic. Your turn is beautiful. That is probably the best turn I'm going to see today, even from guys that have been working on this. That is awesome. You have a good back, don't you? You don't have back problems, do you?
I didn't think it did.
No, good. You don't have back problems, because I have back problems. I can't turn like that. See how your right wrist, though, is like this?
Yeah.
That's cupped. You've ever heard somebody say, don't break your wrists? You've basically broken your wrist. That wrist needs to stay flat. And I say that for a left-handed golfer, or a right-handed golfer like myself, it's the left wrist that needs to stay flat. So when I'm at the top, my wrist needs to be like this. See how the club face is? Yeah. It matches my wrist. If I do this, I put it into the club face right here. If I pull down from here with this wrist cup, my face is open, that's going to help that slice. It's going to help it slice even more, unfortunately. So we're going to flatten that right wrist out. And don't worry, this is all on video here with the voice and everything, so you'll be able to hear it all. You don't have to remember everything. As you come down, you're maintaining that angle pretty good. But then right here, from the elbow to the hands to the club head, see how straight that is? That's where your acceleration ends. Here you have the angle. To there where you don't is the fastest part of your swing. That's why when we looked over here, you got to there, it said you released the energy that you had. That's what we see there. Now from here, do you hit the ball high when you hit it well?
Yeah.
Yep. So as you get through from here, as that club head passes your hands, this is what happens. You're straightened out here, so now your left hand is going to push. And you can see that club face there adds a bunch of loft and opens the club face even more, and that's going to make that slice a little bit worse. And when you turn through, you're a strong dude, you're athletic, good finish there. All in all, from this view, we want to get this to be here through the golf ball. We want this to impact that.
Right.
Straightening out up here. Questions? Comments? Thoughts? Gonna hit Vegas up.
Yeah, I had like 13 of my friends that went with me, so.
Oh man, that's a good time. Okay, before and after here, left to right, arms hanging straight or down. That's the only thing we talked about really we wanted to work on. Looks good. Now, as you start this club moving back before, we know it came inside just a little bit. Not horrible, but you see that elbow broke down. So we worked on taking it straight back, keeping those arms extended, painting that line, if you will. You can see it's just moving right up that line. There it goes a little bit away. We're anticipating the hinge, and that's okay. We would pause there, but now watch. As you hinge, when your club gets to that hinge position, so now from here, if I had you pull straight down, you don't have to think about anything. That club's going to do it all. As you turn up from here, just like we thought, if you started with the butt end pointed at the line, having that little guide, you're able to keep that butt end pointed at the target line. Who's your favorite golfer to watch?
I like Sergio Garcia.
Sergio Garcia. Let's start with Tiger here. At this point in time in his career, back in 2000 era, early 2000s, he had the most consistent golf swing on the planet. It will go down in history as such. Watch how he took that club back. Club head stays on the line. The shaft is pointed at the golf ball. He hinges. He's not perfectly on the line, but end's pointed at the ball though. And at the top, I was perfectly on that line, but end pointed straight down. His club head's right here. So as you get better at this, you'll be able to turn more effectively, but all in all, what do we see? Straight arm, butt end pointed at the ball, butt end pointed at the ball. You can't ask for much more. Now it's all about pulling that grip down. So here you go. You're going to pull down. See how low your hands are and the club head's still above your head, your hands? So if I take the pocket of your shorts, let's go with, say, the bottom of it. I go straight across. Same hand position. Look at the difference in the club. That's speed. It's also club face. That's awesome. So we look at Tiger. As he pulls down. See the club face?
Yeah.
See your club face? They're the same. Looking good?
Yeah.
As you come through, there's feet comes through, arms extend as you came through. Get your arms extended, lower body's involved. You're turning through the shot. See that side of his body. You can see that side of your body. You don't see as much of it there as you do here. Because here you were pushing the club head with your left hand. Here you're still pulling it. And watch the finish. Parallel to the line. That one was pretty good. See the club face's difference though?
Yeah.
How much farther did you get through the shot?
Yeah.
Look at that left shoulder is gone. Look at here, we can still see it. I mean, you actually spun out. You created so much speed.
Wow.
Did you get stronger? Did you try harder?
I might have did a few push-ups.
You might. All right. So our main goal was to get you to hinge properly and get you into a better position and see what you were capable of. So far, it seems like a pretty good move. Now, let's look at the face on. Any questions on that?
No.
Makes sense why we're looking to do that with the club?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's that takeaway. So you maintain that triangle better. Listen to this. See the difference in how this club is relative to that arm?
Yeah.
It's still a connection, still connected. Now as you turn, you're going to hinge, create your 90-degree good, and turn. Right there. So you're saying, I didn't go back very far. Yeah, but you don't have to. Because here, how did you get back there? You broke the wrist. That's really the only difference I see between those two positions. Here's your downswing. And here's why I don't want you to think about your hips. Are you thinking only about pulling the grip down here? Perfect. Watch your hips on the right screen. What did they just do? They moved out of the way. They cleared out. And now look at all that angle. Put your hands in the same position. On the right screen, we see it cut down from Pat O'Brien's leg back there. About 21 degrees. The entire hinge is only 90. You know, almost a quarter better. And as you come through, here's where you straightened out. Here you have your angle, and there you go. Yes, the club face is still open. We can work on that. There's where your golf ball would have been. So once that club face gets square, what's going to happen? You're going to hit the ball 15, 20 yards farther from this motion right here. As you extend through, there's a good turn, up, right there. What do you notice mainly different in your arms?
One's straighter.
Straighter?
Yeah.
What do you think that extension represents?
The extension of my arm?
Yep.
Probably the speed that the
You
ball
got it.
travel.
You got it. If you were going to throw a football, you wouldn't throw it like that. Right. You would get that arm as far away from you as possible. It just happens here because of how you're moving that club through. Not because you tried to do anything different, but just because of where the club was positioned at the top and your thought process for that downswing. Right. I just love seeing that. That's awesome, man. Most people can't get through a shot like that. Plus, okay, let's take a look at your belt buckle. See, this one's pointed at the target, and that one's pointed to the left where your ball goes. They say you got to keep that belt buckle pointed at the target. Yes, that's where you want it to be pointed.